All right, shalom, shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS whom taught me this truth. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in both truth and sincerity, all the men and women who follow. This is the brother Christ from the fountain of living waters, coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. This lesson being entitled The Old Covenant. All right. And Lord, this is edifying. Just wanted to kind of go back to the basics and cover some of these old subjects. Like the old covenant. And Lord's will tomorrow we'll go over the new covenant. But let's get this started. Like I said, Lord's will is edifying in Genesis 15 and 18. Well, matter of fact, let's back it up a little bit. Start at 13. It says, "And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years." Now, this is not talking about America. Yes, we were enslaved here in the Americas, but this is speaking about the time in Egypt. It says, "And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance." And that happened in the time of Moses. It says, "And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and shall be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. And in the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates." Now, now that's a whole separate lesson. That's supposed to be all of our land. Matter of fact, let's see if I can get a picture of the Middle East. Let me see. Yeah, it's not really a good map. Let's see. Um, that's decent, but still can't really see. All right, yeah, let's see if we can blow this one up. All right, count. They call it Rishon. So to the great river of Egypt, which is the Nile River. So everything from the Nile all the way to the Euphrates over here, that's all supposed to be our land, which we end up getting, this piece right here. And we can go definitely, go into that on another lesson. So I'll, Lord, as well, double back to it. Essentially, the children of Israel didn't do what the Lord wanted us to do, so that got cut down. But getting back into it, you know, the Lord said that He made a covenant with Abraham. So let's go into this word covenant, which is Strong's H1285 Barayat, right? Which is where you get Britain. It looks like Brit right there, right? But this is where you get the word Britain, like Great Britain, Barayaf land. That covenant land. You know, also where you get England. England is the angelic sons of Isaac. So, but again, another lesson. I digress. The word means a covenant, an alliance, a pledge between men, a treaty, an alliance, a league, man to man, a constitution, an ordinance, monarch to subjects. So that's like a king making a constitution to the subjects, or an ordinance, or setting laws. an agreement, a pledge made in the man, an alliance. This is really we're speaking about in this sense is between the Most High and man, right? A covenant, a divine ordinance with signs or pledges, right? So it's a deal that the Most High is making with the man Abraham, or in this case Abram, right? That it says in the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, "Unto thy seed have I given this land." So he made the deal with Abraham or Abram that his seed are going to have this land amongst other things, right? So let's jump forward to Genesis 17 and 1. It says, "And when Abram was 90 years old," it's like 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, "I am the mighty power. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly." Right. So at this point, you know, Abram he didn't have a son by his natural wife, who was Sarah, right? And this is when Abram, his name gets changed to Abraham. Sarai gets changed to Sarah. And matter of fact, when we jump forward, um, Genesis 17 and 19, it says, "And the Most High said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him." So as you can see, this seed is getting passed down genetically. Or it's like this covenant is getting passed down genetically. So if you're not part of this genetic gene pool that the covenant is being passed, then you don't have a place in it. You don't have any part of it. Right? It's going from Abraham to Isaac and with his seed after him. It says, "As for Ishmael, I have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation." Right? So Ishmael got a blessing, but he didn't get the blessing. He didn't get the covenant. Right? It says, "But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at the set time in the next year." So Abraham, so Abraham and Isaac is where the covenant is, and then it goes down unto Jacob. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get that. It's 26. This is 27. Here we go. So let me see. I'll kind of jump around this chapter. Genesis 27 and 1, it says, "And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, I am here. And he said, Behold, now I am old and I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons and thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field and take me some venison." Right. So uh, Isaac is about to die, and he's wanting to give the blessing because he understands that he has the blessing of Abraham. It's come down to Isaac. Now he needs to put it to his son and bless his son. Right. So he chose Esau, but the Lord chose Jacob. Matter of fact, we can get that real quick. Genesis 25. I'm tripping. It's like it. This is Genesis 25 and 22. It says, "And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord Yahweh. And the Lord Yahweh said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger." So it was already prophesied that the older, which was Esau, was going to serve the younger, which was Jacob. All right. So fast forwarding back to uh, Genesis 27, Isaac originally chose Esau, but and I'll just for the sake of time, um, let's jump down. Um, I'll just keep reading. This is a Genesis 27 and 8. It says, "Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence two good kids of the goats, and I will make them a savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth." So now this is Rebecca hearing, okay, well, he's about to give a blessing. Well, I need to make sure that Jacob gets this blessing. That's what the Lord told her, and that's what this the spirit was. Also, Esau had already sold his birthright to Jacob, anyways, right, for some red meat. So then, fast forwarding, um, verse 15 says, "And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids and the goat upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave him, and she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat my venison, that thou so may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord thy power brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be very my son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father and felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are of Esau. Hey, chill out. Verse 23. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him, and said, "Art thou my very son Esau?" And he said, "I am." And he said, "Bring it near to me, and I will eat my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee." And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is the smell of the field, which the Lord have blessed. Therefore, the Most High give thee of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, the nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, be Lord over thy brethren, be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So this is the covenant being passed from Abraham to Isaac, Isaac to Jacob, And then, of course, it goes to Jacob's 12 sons, the progenitors. These are the fathers of the covenant, right? And then you have the 12 patriarchs, all right? So, matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. This is Acts 7 and 8. It says, and he gave him the covenant of circumcision, and so Abraham begat Isaac and circumcised him the eighth day, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob began the 12 patriarchs. Right? So this is the line, this is the lineage, all right, that the covenant has been given. Let's grab a quick precept. Psalms 147 and 20 says, he has not dealt so with any nation. As far as his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So Salakia, let me start back up at 19. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. As far as his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So the Lord is only dealing with Jacob, has only dealt with Jacob, right? 2 Ezra 3 and 36. Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. Well, why is that? Because they weren't given unto them. All right. This lineage, this gift, this barayath, this covenant, this agreement, this alliance, okay, was only given unto the sons of the promise, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right. So we'll end it with this Romans. As a matter of fact, I'll just start at Romans 9 and 1. It says, I say the truth in Hamashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have a great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, right? Which is very important. He said that he would wish that he was cursed, for his brethren's sake, for his kinsmen's sake, who are according to the flesh, who are Israelites, right? To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises, right? All of this was given unto the Israelites. It was given, handed down from Abraham, Isaac to Jacob, and then Jacob to the 12 tribes, right? And from the 12 patriarchs to all the men, women, and children who are part of those 12 tribes, whom today will be classified as Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the confusion of faith, because we've been infiltrated, and our women have been taken, and our men have spread seed with other nations as well. So you have people who, well, if the woman was taken, but as far as men spreading their seed with other nations, and after a certain period of time, they start looking like those other nations. But when you trace their fathers, they come back to Israel, right? Verse 5, it says, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, right? Concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, Yahushua came for those who are Israelites according to the flesh, right? Who is over all the Most High, blessed forever, Amen. Not as though the word of the Most High had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel, right? You have a 1/3, you have a 2/3 of Israel that's going to get judged, and the 1/3 is going to, obtain salvation, and the 2/3 are going to be destroyed on this side, right? It says, neither because they are of the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac are thy seed called, right? Because we talked about how Isaac was chosen over Ishmael, right? And it says, that is, they which are not the children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Most High, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. The children of the promise, right, which is Isaac and Jacob, right? Those are the children of the promise, as well as going down unto the 12 patriarchs and, the children, all the way to this day, right? Says, that is, they which are of the children of the flesh, these are not the children of the Most High, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. Not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, right? So it's speaking of Sarah having a son, and Rebekah conceiving and having a son, via Abraham and via Isaac. He says, for the children not yet being born, neither having done any good or evil, right? So going back to the Genesis 25, you know, when they were in Rebecca's womb, they hadn't done no good or evil. How could a baby in the womb do anything right or do anything wrong? Well, this is what it says. This is that the purpose of the Most High, according to election, might stand, right? The Most High made that decision to make one good, one evil, right? To choose one and put past the other. But let's keep reading. It says, not of works, but of him that calleth. So it's not about what they did or what they were going to do. It's about the Most High's decision. The Most High made a judgment call. He said, I'm going to choose Jacob and I'm going to put by Esau. I'm going to, hate Esau, which I kind of jumped the gun. Verse 12, it says, it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, which we read that twice now. I think this may be the third time. It says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, right? So that's really what it's about, man. It's about who the Lord chose. And the Lord chose Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the 12 patriarchs, and then their descendants from after that. So this is the old covenant that was set up. It was only, the Most High making a covenant between these descendants, and that's the covenant that we are still in today. Well, we're not technically in the old covenant. We're in the time of grace. So, like I said, Lord's will, we get to the new covenant tomorrow, and we'll also cover grace as well. Maybe I'll cover grace tomorrow and the new covenant the following day. However it comes, the Lord will work it out. Lord's will. With that being said, Lord's will, this is edifying. And, we give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakar giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS who taught me this truth. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in both truth and sincerity, are the men and the women who follow. Shalom.